operation within the area of our jurisdiction. One of the NUP supporters called Ed Mutwe was locked up in a basement, tortured, and someone who tortured him was on social media celebrating. The procedural issue I am raising, Mr. Speaker, we have pleaded with this Parliament to allow us to have that matter debated of the torture within our own country. Sam Mugumya, you were with him as young people in FDC. Up to now, we don't know where he is. The procedural issue, Mr. Speaker, is whether we should elevate cases of torture that have happened beyond our borders and don't deal with torture that has happened within the area of our jurisdiction. Because you have a number of our people being abducted by the military headed by Major General Moses Kainerugaba, tortured, and he goes on social media to celebrate. This Parliament is very angry that our girl...
Order. Mr. Speaker, I'm raising a point. He was once with us, joined the NRM, and now he has crossed coming, squeezing me here. Is he in order to come and place me in my comfortable seat? Well knowing the honorable member from Soroti, Ariko, who was in the FDC, joined the NRM, now he has crossed the floor. Mr. Speaker could list him and order sitting here. Otherwise, no. You see, he's even talking when we are having a house.
So I saw the opposition chief whip calling him. But please, I request you do this after here. Honorable, the rules don't allow us to be crossing the floor.
Speaker, I am raising this procedure issue for your help. We've raised this matter. Up to today, I even attempted to move a motion of adjournment to have all the other matters stayed, to have that matter debated. Before we go to, and I'm not saying this is not a serious matter, issues of our people outside Uganda is a serious matter. You even had a criminal in America who said, don't take me to Uganda where they torture people. So the procedural issue, Mr. Speaker, is whether that debate that we have requested should not precede this particular matter that has come as a result of reports in the newspapers and on BBC in the last 2 days.
For Semujju, we take all matters here, especially to do with human rights, seriously. That's why you've always brought them up. We have the Committee on Human Rights, which has done several reports. But the problem is how the law is structured, with where we stop as a Parliament of Uganda. We've made several recommendations on several issues. But also, it doesn't mean that because we have a matter that we consider, some of the members consider very, very serious, when other serious matters come, we don't raise them. You have matters whereby 2 lives were lost. One of them, the family has not even had closure. A child was buried in the cemetery of the unknown. Isn't that a very serious matter that we should be looking at as a Parliament of Uganda? It is a serious matter. So to me, it is a matter of ensuring that we always give you time, we always give you space to raise these issues. We debate, we make recommendations. And we have done it on several occasions. So all matters are critical, and I think we are doing the right thing in allowing colleagues here to talk about this critical issue. Maybe you never know this family, which doesn't even have those to speak for it. Because you see, we politicians, we have a lot of people who can speak for us. But there are those ones who don't have those who can speak for them. Maybe it can be an opportunity for their issues to be raised and government takes action. Government is responsible for its citizens anywhere they are. And even if they are under certain law in a different country, it is government should come in case the Ugandan anywhere. The other day, Honorable Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs raised the issue of our children in Myanmar, and government took action. They were brought back. So in this house, we use that opportunity to fight for anyone who needs support. Honorable, let me first allow Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, then Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and colleagues for amplifying this matter. As a Shadow Minister, I've had experience and the opportunity to interact with Ugandans in the diaspora. And it is true that Ugandans, mostly in the Middle East, remain with unending challenges. Many are several times found in distress, and indeed we receive so many distress calls. But specifically for United Arab Emirates, I've also had the opportunity to look at the story aired by BBC, and it speaks to what we have been seeking for, that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must come out and explain where is the delay in negotiating enforceable bilateral labor agreements. This is one of the critical areas we need to address, because with enforceable bilateral agreements, like other countries have done, for example, Philippines, our nationals would be protected while abroad. And it's also a double-ended sword. We also need explanation from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because largely many of these are trafficked. And we also need to interrogate, why is trafficking on increase? And trafficking is at our borders. This has to be addressed locally. When we are to speak about trafficking, how do people exit, especially under questionable circumstances? But for those in the Middle East, we still have Ugandans who are still distressed in Myanmar, in Cambodia. I've had distress calls from Ugandans, especially women, in India. Now we saw the BBC story. The work conditions can only be improved by government through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our embassies, negotiating, and we support them in enforcement of bilateral labor agreements. That will safeguard the rights of our workers wherever they are deployed abroad. But when it comes to how they exit the country, we also need a response from Internal Affairs. What is their take on trafficking? And we also need to interrogate, where are those cases where government has prosecuted traffickers locally here? Because we must deal with both the trafficking from our borders and also the welfare of our nationals when they exit to foreign countries, not only UAE, but also largely in the Middle East. Let's deal with negotiating bilateral labor agreements, and let Parliament support the enforcement of these bilateral labor agreements, because some of them may even have financial implications. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues,
the issue of recruitment of these workers, so that government is fully responsible, so that we as a house can appropriate resources to take care of these issues. When these people get problems there, government should know where they send certain group of people and should be able to repatriate. Other countries, it is government that takes charge of this issue. But now, because we are having individuals doing this, they take anybody and they confiscate their documents. Right, Honorable Speaker, me and you faced a challenge in Bahrain. You remember when we found people whose passports were not there, they were taken, other passports were expired, they couldn't renew, others were sick, they needed treatment. But if they are sent by government, then government will have records. But this business of just participating in issuing operation licenses to companies, to individuals, then there's no way we can vet the right people to go there, and there's no way we can begin following this. I request that we take up this issue seriously and let government take the lead in on quarterly basis, sending out whoever we are sending out, and we know the number of people who have gone there, they are registered, and we follow wherever they are, and let government negotiate for better deals. We cannot be going out to do prostitution, to do very shoddy jobs, and yet other governments are negotiating for better contracts. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Now, farms, okay, and then we see who can be held responsible. There's a procedure matter from Odur, procedure.
Communicated to us And the point I picked from your communication is that there is an international criminal running what would be equivalent to modern slave trade, picking human beings, girls, and selling them to be dehumanized in ways that cannot be described here. So the procedural matter I'm raising, how we have veered off the matter of slave trade and to debate as if we are suggesting that government should take up the responsibility of selling Ugandans abroad for such things and mixing it with the issue of labor externalization. So the procedural matter I wanted you to guide is whether we could restrict ourselves to this criminality that cannot be justified, whether by an individual, whether by an institution, or by government. It does not have a place. And we should not even be debating and suggesting that there's a better way if government is the one who does it. Of course, if the NRM government wants to do, no problem. But our side, I don't think it is something that can be acceptable. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, the saying is very clear, but it also shows what is coming from members. It shows that this matter is way beyond what we are even discussing here. But with our rules, we have to remain within the framework of what has been suggested. Honorable colleagues, don't you think it would be prudent, okay, for the minister to bring a statement? Because you see, even if this is an international criminal, there are Ugandan guards, Uganda featured everywhere, you know. So the minister, yeah, oh, Lop, yes, I had allowed Lop earlier.
It's good we are discussing this very critical matter. I did watch that documentary, I saw it myself. Very grotesque images and stories of our young people who leave this place to go and seek employment. Eventually they are hoodwinked because many of them are taken. You're going to work as a security guard, you're going to work in a restaurant, in whatever the case might be, and they end up in an illegal, coercive prostitution ring where they are sexually abused. It is the responsibility of government to care for Ugandans here and Ugandans abroad. I'm actually surprised that government has not come out to communicate to the country about this situation and what they are doing. We had expected that that should have happened with immediacy, so that we know you are in charge, so that we know you are concerned about these young Ugandan people. Government has not done that yet. I don't know why. Many of our young people who go for these jobs come back in body bags. We see them crying out, saying, government, help us, okay, at the very least, to transport the body bag. Government doesn't do that. We don't understand why. Honorable Speaker, as we are demanding for a statement from government, we want it to be a lot more action-oriented, even before the statement. Can we see government begin to take steps to protect these Ugandan citizens? Because you see, a number of them go through these farms that are registered by you, government. They export them, externalize them to wherever, and then they end up in this confusion. We want to see action. But most importantly, Right Honourable Speaker, the bigger issue we need to resolve as a country that we need to work hard towards is finding a remedy to youth unemployment. The 2024 population and housing census, National Population and Housing Census, showed that between the age of 18 and 30, 16.1% of those young people are unemployed. What's even more bothersome is that those who are employed are either underemployed, they're doing very odd work that only enables them transport. What they earn is simply enough for transport. It doesn't include feeding, they can't get where to stay, and that's the challenge we have on our hands. So any young person is desperate to go and work wherever. So when they hear of an opportunity, they'll run quickly to go and board the plane, unfortunately for them to come back in body bags. That's something we need to resolve and remedy as a country. But now that we have this at hand, we want to see action from government taking quick steps so that a few months down the road we are not hearing stories of other girls being brought in body bags. Thank you.
Government.
Mr. Speaker, when this documentary came out, the Prime Minister directed the Minister for Labour to investigate the matter and actually even update cabinet in the coming days, but also take some action. So government is already in action in terms of investigating the matter and making sure that we prevent this to happen even to other Ugandans. Regarding whether government should take over the process of externalization of labor, I think we are doing it better with private companies, as long as government has a hand in sieving out who is doing this. On the issue of the bill, the minister, as he makes a statement, he will also be able to update the House on how far the bill has gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister, let's have the statement next week, but especially looking at those cases of Ugandans who died, we really need to know how you followed up, and we need to know whether these people indeed went through farms licensed by government or they went on their own. Okay? So, thank you. Honorable